Hello everyone, and welcome to our Geelong Digital Outdoor Museum launch event. Before we start, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. My name is Tuba Kocatürk. I'm Professor of Integral Design in the School of Architecture and Built Environment at Deakin University. I'm also the founding director of MindLab, which stands for Mediated Intelligence in Design. I'd like to introduce two other members of MindLab today, Dr. Sofia Kaljevich and Dr. Domenico Mazza, and you can probably call us the three musketeers of the Geelong Digital Outdoor Museum project, although Sofia and Dom are the two real key drivers behind it. So a little bit about Sofia and Dom. So Sofia is an architect and a researcher in MindLab. Her expertise on collective memory and social identity construction through collective engagement in public spaces has been invaluable for this project. She's also the curator and lead researcher of the Geelong Digital Outdoor exhibition. Sofia is on maternity leave at the moment, so she will not be joining us actively in the presentation, but she's definitely online and supporting us as usual. Domenico is a highly skilled visual designer of digital user interfaces, data visualizations, and wayfinding systems. His responsibility for the project is mainly for the development of our online platform. He's later going to provide a more detailed overview of the platform and the technical and visual genius behind it in a few minutes. But before I hand over to Dom, I'd like to say a few words about MindLab, who we are, what we do. So MindLab is a practice-based and transdisciplinary research group in the School of Architecture at Deakin. We operate at the intersection of built environment, information technology, and design innovation. And we have a vision to improve the interactions between humans and their environment. And to do it, we aim to use a fusion of design and technology. So more specifically, we are really exploring the transformational potential of AI, standing for artificial intelligence, real-time data, spatial computation, and also digital media to create more agile and adaptive solutions for built environments. And in addition to our research activities, we also develop use case scenarios, prototypes, depending on the projects we do. Sometimes we do proof of concept applications and test their relevance in real life situations. And to that end, and just so you know, we are also constantly looking for opportunities to work with industry, city councils, planning authorities, technology developers, and end users, and aim to jointly and collectively drive new models of innovations. These are some of the key areas of our ongoing research. The project we will present today falls under the two of these key areas, digital placemaking and digital heritage. Of course, you can always go to our website and explore other projects as well. So the demo we will be sharing with you today is only one part of a larger and ongoing project, which aims to connect Geelong's cultural past and present through a three-dimensional virtual and immersive exhibition. The project aims to virtually capture various urban spaces in Geelong and connect those spaces with their cultural heritage stories. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dom.
Thank you, Tuba. So my name is Dom, yes. I would love to give everyone not just the demo of the thing that we've built, but to give you guys an insight into a bit of the design process and how we actually got to the final outcome. There's a bit of history with this project. But overall, the presentation will break down into just a background, the trials that we kind of went through, how we put it together, and then a demo and a Q&A. So I've just chucked in a comment just to say in the chat box, if you haven't logged into YouTube, please do, if you do want to ask questions about the project. But without much ado, I'll go ahead and explain for those of you that are joining from overseas and don't know where Geelong is. Geelong is in Australia. It's located in the state of Victoria. And you probably know Melbourne. Geelong is the sibling city. We're the second biggest city in the same state. An interesting little thing to note is that Geelong in the local Wadawurrung language actually means a tongue of land, Geelong. And if you look at that topography, what that means is on one side, we have this really beautiful picturesque ocean, and on the other, we have this very calm and serene bay. And that itself has contributed a lot to, I guess, a lot of the industrial and recreational history of the area. It's actually quite rich. So whether you're going down the city or whether you're going down the Bellarine Peninsula, the tongue, there's so much to explore, and that's a big impetus for the project that we've done. Because a lot of this history is hidden, and we're at risk of, losing aspects of that history if someone doesn't become a caretaker for this and put it into a digital platform. So to give you guys an idea of, oh, sorry, I'm just trying to hide. I can see the little Zoom faces here that are blocking the text. So we're speaking from Zoom via into YouTube. So the project, the original project behind the one that we're showing you is actually a VR application that we made in 2019. We made this with dark spade technology, and it was something inspired by the City of Geelong's, the City of Greater Geelong's city landscape architects. They really wanted us to see how we could actually make the kind of the intangible history of these tangible locations, come to life. So to actually get this going, we collected an extensive amount of archival images and historical texts, basically going back about as far as 200 years ago. And we kind of had to carefully curate these into this experience where basically someone can hold up an iPad and take it around like a kind of lens, like almost imagining a kind of time machine where you can kind of go in the past and you can see structures that were once there, and you can see photographs of the activities that happened there. During this time that this application was made, this area was being redeveloped and being changed. So it was kind of a complement to that. Should mention an interesting aspect of this was that we actually performed analysis on pedestrian traffic just to make sure that we put these little augmented reality elements in the right spots. It was kind of a visual audio tour, and a bit of a humble brag, but we got a design award for this in 2020. But yeah, we grabbed this system that used iBeacons and iPads and wanted to translate this into something that was, I guess, a lot more accessible to the community. So our tasks for this project here that we're showing you is we wanted to evolve this kind of AR lens time machine experience that people can, gather around together. Like say you're out on the beach and you're with your family or whoever it might be, and kind of gather around it. To change that into something where anyone from anywhere on any device can access this platform online, with the potential that somewhere down the track the community can actually contribute to the platform. So to kind of make this happen, we've got to start talking about the data. So there, like I said, it goes back to 200 years back of basically creating stories from images, maps, newspaper articles, correspondence, collections of images and interviews with people. So it's almost like a bit of an investigatory kind of work to, grab all these pieces and put them together. And it's not so straightforward to say, grab it from the augmented reality app that you can see here, like where images are kind of scattered around the landscape and conform to that analysis that we did of where pedestrians move. Grabbing that system and putting it into an online platform was a challenge in itself. And we figured out the best way to do that was to divide all of this data into 4 themes. And you'll actually see these themes when you get into the Geelong Digital Outdoor Museum, the Western Beach section that we've made. So we had to capture, to make all of this happen, we had to capture Western Beach in a way so people could experience it from any device and experience that data attached as annotations to this site. So one of the first things we played around with was basically, without getting too technical, but basically a web 3D library. Basically, imagine like video games for the web, but obviously we don't have the time to make video games. So we're looking at what systems can we use to kind of let people walk through the site. So we went out there with a 360 camera, captured a few test images and put it into this platform where basically people could click around to move. And because it was in this 3D engine, we could actually put 3D models in it as well, which is pretty good for, you know, web-based experience. But what we found was it was pretty cumbersome to walk in it. So those little circles that you see were basically the way that you would advance forward. So it was probably a bit of a, even though this wasn't happening in 1990, but more of a 1990 kind of outcome rather than a 2020 outcome. And this is just one of the perspectives from the actual model, which is a bit neat. So I should say this model is just replacing the ship that's currently there at Western Beach as a bit of a trial. So after playing around with all of that, we came across this platform called Matterport. And a lot of you might actually know this because during the COVID lockdowns, Matterport was almost this go-to platform, especially for local events, museums and whatnot, to actually document physical places that people couldn't attend in person. And the good thing about this platform was it let us basically create something that made that process of walking through 360 images a whole lot more seamless than just clicking on dots. So we played around with Matterport. We used the same camera that we did to do that trial. And because it's something that's actually quite advanced to stitch static images, especially on an iPad, into a kind of cohesive model. We didn't quite get the results that we wanted for outdoor settings. So indoor it was fantastic, but outdoor was kind of playing tricks with the algorithm, the way it was designed for this particular hardware. So we kind of had to get a secret weapon, which works with this platform, and that was a 19 kilogram package, and within that was this little bullet shaped LiDAR camera. And for those of you that don't know what LiDAR is, it's basically a system of using laser ranging, basically shooting lasers into space to figure out exactly how far objects are. And what this camera basically does, it spins in two directions. So it spins in the horizontal direction to capture all these images to create like a really crisp 360 image. And then you can see, actually, I don't know if anyone can actually see the cursor, but it actually has a little mirror that spins in a vertical direction that shoots this laser around. So effectively what we're doing is we're capturing the 360 images, and with that, exactly how far away each of those objects in those images are. And the outcome of that was we were able, in an outdoor setting, able to construct a pretty cohesive map that effectively people can walk through really easily on the web. So, which is pretty good. That was 72 captures that we got. So when you actually see it, there's 72 different images, and that's why it feels like you're actually walking through the space. And it was about 12 hours of scanning for anyone that wonders how long this kind of process takes. So enough talking about the project. Now is the time to let you guys access the site. It's now live. For those of you that are on the site at gdom.mindlab.cloud and see the holding page that we had before, just kindly refresh the page as we're having some caching issues with the server. And if you're still having problems, please just chuck the link in a private window. You can also find this link in the YouTube description if you're watching it outside of the Eventbrite page. And I should mention during this time, for those of you that have managed to log in and see the chat function, please do ask us questions. This is really one of the few opportunities that we get, or in a computer setting, to get out there and let people just ask us about our work. So, and then after that, we just have one more little thing to share after the demo. So I'll just quit this presentation. And show you guys the Geelong Digital Outdoor Museum. So this is the homepage. The homepage at the moment has the Western Beach site that we've been talking about and working on, but we also have some future sites coming soon. So that's something to pay attention to, but we'll click on Western Beach. And I must say, this is almost like explaining to someone how to read a book. So I won't spend too long going through the content. I just want to show you guys basically the crux of the interface and kind of the little things to look out for. But we've got the Matterport view here, and you can actually begin to hover on areas. So this is our first little Matter tag here, where you can actually start to see a bit about the short history of the area. So it is one of those experiences you can just go around and look at the images and the animations that we have on page, or you can really spend a considerable amount of time and almost read this like a novel to actually get a really in-depth history of all the events that happened on this area. So there's that aspect of the interface where you can interact with those tags and look around. You can also click on them. And when you click on them, you can expand the text, but you can hide the text doing that. If you're on mobile, it's kind of similar, but just slightly different. And just quit that. Before I move too far ahead, I want to show you guys, there's actually a map function here that you might have noticed that as you move, it does track you along. And if you do want to go to some predefined areas, all you have to do is just click to move to those areas. We've also got some ambient audio. So I don't have audio connected over this live stream, but if you actually hit this button, you're going to get the ambient sounds from the area that we recorded. And it's a nice touch to kind of feel like you're actually there. This here is a sidebar. So there's instructions, but importantly, we also have a survey. So for anyone that wants to provide feedback or comments, whether they're positive or negative, please do complete this survey. It will help us so much, especially with the next versions of this project that we do. We also have this little sneaky exhibit catalog area, which basically has a catalog of all of these tags, and you can actually access the text in this way if that's something that you prefer, and you can actually click on the different tags here. I'm actually going to pick one of my favorite ones, which is around the shipbuilders area. And this was something that I didn't realize what this was for when I was on site, but you can actually go and see on the tag that this was one of the winches that they used to actually move the ships around. And if you look closely enough, you will find images that actually show you a bit about how this area was used. So I'll just give people time to, I guess, play around and move around with it. If anyone has any comments or questions, please do chuck them in. I have a question right now, actually, if Sophia. Sophia, I'm wondering so we have, I think we covered the themes before, and the color coding relates to this, correct?
Yes, actually, do you hear me? That's first.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So basically, we had, as you already presented earlier, we have 4 teams. Obviously, the biggest amount of contact, which is blue one, is related to the bats. This research was the first original one that we did, and the most of the data collected was the blue one, or about the bats and the bathing architecture, specifically focused in Western Beach region. But also we have other 3 teams, and all of these 4 teams are actually related to the different colors, as you can see. So greens are boat builders. Let's say magenta one are related to the rowing clubs, etc., etc. So it was necessary in a way, or at least it was important for us to somehow distinguish the different themes. So basically we used the opportunity that Matterport offered, which was like color matter tags, and we just separated for people just to have better user experience, as to say. I mean, that's only our choice. Maybe it could be better in the future, maybe we can, but those are the pluses and minuses of the platform we are currently using. Maybe in the future we are going to find a better solution for it, or this one is going to work perfect. Yeah.
I should say, for those of you that are noticing a bit of a lag with loading, we're running the live stream and the actual site itself. So hopefully, yes, we've all got it loaded at home. But yes, certainly Matterport, as you say, Sophia, it does have, it has had certain little limitations, has had great advantages though, in terms of letting us basically collate LiDAR information and the 360 scans together seamlessly. But of course, the platform that we have is of course modular, and the idea is that it's not just limited to particular platforms and not even particular digital platforms, but we might even actually open it up to things like physical events and stuff like that, where people can kind of bounce back and forth between kind of digital experiences and physical experiences, and experiences where people bring the digital on site or have the digital at home. So as I don't notice any questions in the box, what I'll do is, unless any of the team has questions that they want to ask, I'll go, yeah.
Maybe it's important to remind that for anyone to use the chat function in YouTube, they need to log in to YouTube. I think it's really important. And the address is here. If they maybe any of those of you who are listening, if you could maybe try to open this address on your browser and try to explore the site on your own. And if you have any questions later on after today, because this will be displayed for a while online, please just feel free to drop us a line if you have any further questions.
Awesome. So I did mention before that we'd have one last thing to mention, and this is something that we've been working on the side, which is we want to run a workshop down the track, especially as we develop these new areas. We basically want to consult with people in the public that either work in heritage spaces, but even enthusiasts for local heritage. And for that, we recommend that if people are interested in this project and potentially interested in joining the workshop, we have a subscription link here, which is just, it'll populate just an email window. And if you want to hear news about the new sites that open or the workshop, you can use that link. We also have just a normal contact address there. So we might just not sure if we're going to get any more questions here. In that case, look, we do have the contact address here for anyone that does want to ask questions that's either maybe a bit shy or for whatever reason the system's just not working on your end. So look, on behalf of the team, thank you so much for coming down and taking a look at this really, I guess, new and raw work that we want to share with the public and share with the community and build forward. Actually, oh, here we go. We've got a comment. This site is working very well. Great stuff. Thank you so much, MDW Mobile. Okay, so I guess it might be time for farewell, and we'll definitely answer any questions that we get. I'm not sure if we can make those public back on the YouTube page, but yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, guys. Bye.